Hey guys, we are pouring a foundation today, and I just wanted to show how the process works. We've got our concrete trucks that are pumping into a pump truck. So as you see, the big boom pump truck is able to get the concrete over to the foundation. Here we are about to see it coming out of the chute of one of the two trucks. Backed up, it goes into that pump and is pumped to the foundation. This is a really sandy lot, so we wouldn't have been able to get trucks all the way up to the foundation even if we wanted to. Here's a view of the pump truck pumping into the foundation. And what's happening here is as you look at a post-tension foundation design, you'll see what we call the deep beams, which are these trenches throughout that make it look like a waffle. We have cables with what we call live ends that stick out of the form boards, that a week after this is all poured, there's a crew that will come back, they will put tension on these cables so that in the encased concrete, there's a tension on these cables that run crisscross through it and help distribute the load should the ground want to heave or settle. We also, in these foundations, have rebar. So as you can see over here, we've got some rebar in certain areas to help reinforce sections. And then all of this plastic acts as a water barrier between the shallow sections and the deep sections. You'll see the deep beams don't actually get plastic all the way down in them, but the rest of your foundation here, where what we would call the shallow section, is about 4 inches deep nominally. Now this is the garage section of this house, so this actually has some slope from that wall over there that's common to the living space out here to what will be the apron area of the garage doors. This is a big 4-car garage, so we've got two big 2-car garage doors on it. And this concrete will ultimately slope from there to here, so if you're in the garage using water or anything, it can run out. Here is the concrete being pumped, and as you'll see, the finishing of concrete isn't overly complex. When it's first poured, they're using shovels, sometimes these vibrating machines to make sure the concrete gets compacted enough. Then you've got guys with scribes or trowels that are smoothing out the concrete. As you can see with concrete, it's a mix of rocks and sand and some other materials. And what anchors a foundation is these deep beams that the concrete goes down into. We also have foundation piers at each intersection of these beams. Those right there are electrical floor plugs. So what's happened is the conduit for those have run over to a wall location so that wire can be stubbed down and power the floor plugs. We'll do the same thing for kitchen island areas and anywhere where we have a freestanding tub. What you are seeing right there is a water supply for a freestanding tub. Why does it have a box with a bunch of dirt around it? Well, that is common anytime you have a floor drain in a house. We call it a box. It is essentially a box that they put dirt into. And the purpose is if the plumbers need to kind of have some wiggle room with that drain location or anything later, it gives them that ability. Now, that water is actually just run over to where a sink will be, right there. So once the plumbing comes down, all plumbing is run overhead in these houses. We'll come down the wall, we'll feed that sink, and then those 2 pieces of PEX pipe will run over to where the tub's going to be. Sorry for the wind, I don't think I put the little foam cover on my microphone. These form boards that you see here within the foundation are indicating the back patio. So if we were to put a level on those form boards, we would see they slope from the wall common to the house to the wall at the edge of the foundation. Again, just like a garage, so water can run out and away from the house. You'll see right here that the form board for the back of the patio is lower than the main form boards at what we would call the finished floor, the level that the house will be at. This horizontally placed board right next to the outside of the form boards indicates what we call a brick ledge. So right through here, all of this part of the house is going to have either stone or brick on the outside of it. We know that because the point of this board is when it is removed, it will be dropped down from the main part of the foundation. That is a ledge to stack stone or brick on. As you can imagine, that stuff's really heavy. We want to have a bit of a drop from the main finished floor elevation so that water can't crawl up into the house. And that's how we do it. That's how we create a brick ledge. Eventually that form board will be pulled away and we'll have a 5.5-inch ledge right there. Now, if a house is getting stucco, siding, or like a thin stone, we don't have to do the brick ledge because it's attached directly to the house itself. So I was just talking about the brick ledge, but as you see right here, you don't see that board running horizontally. That's because that area is going to get stucco. So as the form board stops right there, then when concrete's right against the foundation, that will mean the wall will be sitting right on the edge and we will be stuccoing it. We do not need a ledge for stucco. That recessed area you see right there, and there's another one a little behind it, are showers. So anytime we are doing a shower on a first floor, we will recess to have it drop down. We can still come back and fill them, bring them up if we want to have a roll-in style shower. But doing that prevents us from having to do a curb around the shower like you have to do on a second floor. Just a little foundation pour 101. Well, Steve, what is this trench they've dug out of the foundation? That is there for drainage. If we got a heavy rain, that would allow water to leave this part of the foundation. When they come to pour it, they'll just block it up.